Hi, Monique.
Hello.
How are you doing?
I'm good, thank you.
Good, good. So I'm excited to talk to you. I've talked to a few others, but if I remember correctly, you were doing what, 2 to 4 signings a day, something like that?
Yeah, yeah. And I hope
How
to do more
awesome.
because I just went mobile. I got my ego, what's it called? The ego, shoot, I always forget the name of it. It's a like a power station. So I can go fully mobile in my car. Now I don't have to drive back home to pick up files. I can just do it from the road.
Excellent, excellent. Well, thank you for joining me for a marketing conversation. Now I'm curious. So walk me through this. So you're in the Fort Worth area in Texas,
Yes,
right?
yes.
Okay. So what have you been doing up to now as far like to get to the point of 2 to 4 signings a day?
No marketing. I have no skills in that area whatsoever, but I build relationships with the signing service people. And so I have two direct clients that give me maybe once or twice a month, give me some work now. But the signing services are what's keeping me going. And I build relationships with them. I call them randomly, see how they're doing. I ask them if there's anything I can do for them.
Right.
I send them gift cards, like $5 Starbucks cards, in appreciation for their business. And, that's it.
That doesn't hurt at all. What what platforms are you using to get the signing services?
I use SnapDocs and Signing Order.
Okay. So you're
Yeah,
getting a lot of repeat business from the same, because usually
yeah.
usually lenders and whatnot, they market certain areas at once, all at once. So you'll start seeing some back-to-back sellers packages or refinances or whatever, from
Mhm.
the same lenders and stuff. And then you typically use the same signing service. So I'm assuming you have what, maybe four or so signing services that are feeding you all that stuff?
That's exactly right. Yep. And
Okay.
I also recently joined the Grapevine Chamber of Commerce. And
Okay.
so I've gotten some business from them too, like for general notary work.
Awesome, awesome. Okay,
Yeah.
well, shoot, you're onto the right foot. So then what can I help with? I'm assuming that you're wanting to go a little bit more direct.
Yes. So that's the issue. So I had a really bad experience, and it was a signing service I'd never worked for. And they called and said, "We have a cash out in Texas." Are you in Texas?
I used to be. I was in Texas
Okay.
from 2018 to the end of 2020.
Okay, so you're probably familiar with the Texas cash out law that has to be done in title office or attorney's office. And
Right.
so I said, okay, like I'm thinking, how hard can it be, right? Title knows we need to do this. So I called 25 different title companies and attorneys' offices. They all turned me down
Because it's
to
not
do
their
it.
work.
Yeah,
Yeah.
even though I offered to pay for their space, they were not very kind. And so
Yeah.
I'm like, wow, these people are like jerks, like not even supportive or understanding, nothing, just stone cold jerks. And I was like, okay, I'm not ready to go direct because I don't even want to talk to these people. And so it was a bad experience, and I let it go from that point. I'm like, never mind.
Well, you need to let it go in terms of feeling bad about it for them, because um, if you look at it from their perspective, they it's not their package, it's not their signing, it's not their closing, right? So
Yeah,
there's
but it
no
was.
incentive.
It
Huh?
was. It
It was
was.
one
It
of
was.
theirs?
Yes, it was one of their own. That's the first title company I called.
Oh, you're talking
And
you're
they,
talking about like Stewart Title or somebody, right? Like a title company hires you, and so
yeah,
you try to find like a sister or like another, like, but the same Stewart Title, just independently owned by somebody
yep,
else, kind of thing.
yep,
Oh wow, really?
yep.
That's unfortunate.
And it was a hard no across all the ones I called.
Yeah. Yeah, I learned that the hard way as well, when I first started out too. So it was this exact same situation. I didn't call a whole bunch of them. I called maybe about two or three, and I got the same response. They're like,
Mhm.
absolutely not. No, we don't do that. We don't do that. That kind of thing. And so I had to call back the person who was hiring me. I was like, hey, I don't have an office to go to. And they're like,
Yeah,
oh, we thought you took it. We thought that you already had something going on. I was like, no, I thought this was a simple thing. But anyway, it is what it is, right?
yeah. So the signing services I work for now, they started asking me to do cash outs. I'm like, nope, I don't do those because
Mhm.
I'm not going to deal with
Mhm.
finding a room. If you want to find the
Yep.
room, I'll absolutely do it. And that's what they
Yeah.
do for me now. So they
Nice.
schedule the room and then they call me and say, hey, do you want to do a cash out in Arlington or whatever? I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, sure, I'll do it.
There you go. You see, you
So
you 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 adapted really fast.
I just
That's good.
make them do it. If they want me, they'll ask me. If not, that's okay.
Right, right. That's awesome. So predominantly, are you doing cash outs? Are you doing new home
Everything.
builds or
No, I
everything?
do everything. Seller, buyer, cash out, refi, reverse mortgage, everything.
Good, good,
I
good.
do
Um,
immigration also because I speak
really?
Spanish. Yeah.
Oh wow, you're just dipping into everything.
Yeah. A little bit of everything.
All right. Do you do aside from the two people that you said earlier that give you the general notary work, the Chamber of Commerce, do you
Mhm.
do general notary work for like do you market for that or not at all?
I don't do
No?
any marketing and I don't know
None?
how. And I tried to Google my business page and they said I had to do a video of my location to verify me. And so I did that. And then their response was like, oh, this is like a shady business. And they denied me. I'm like, okay, I'm the shady notary, whatever. So I quit. I
That's
don't want to
that's
market.
so odd.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm done. I don't know what I'm doing, obviously. So,
Well, we'll have to look into your Google My Business. And now it's Google Profile. Now it is Google My Profile
right.
or something like that, or Google Business Profile. They
Yeah.
renamed it. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. Yeah, I had to do something similar with the Google My Business when it was still that because I have separate LLCs, right? One's for the notary
Okay.
piece, and then one is for my land investment stuff. So it's uh
Oh,
it's a little, they're like, hey, it's the same address. How are you doing this? So
yeah.
I had to show them all my paperwork and stuff. But so when I was in Texas, I used to work over I lived out of Mansfield, so
Okay.
I would work the Mansfield, Arlington,
Mhm.
little areas, sometimes Irving, that kind of thing, Fort Worth. And I went direct about a month and a half after being a notary.
Wow.
So yeah, but it's not so by trade, my normal job is I'm an army recruiter, right? So I'm used
Okay.
to being out in the community. I'm used to talking to people, and the army they trained us up, right, to pluck us from one state, put us into another state, and then we have
Mhm.
to kind of get into the community and build trust and all that kind of stuff so that
Yeah.
we can start enlisting people, right? So I basically just used what the army taught me and applied it to a different industry, and it kind of worked out really well. And then I've been in sales for a long time before the army, so we can talk about some strategies on how to market directly with title, escrow, lawyers or whoever you're trying to really hone in on, and either you like it or you don't. That's fine too,
Yeah.
but we
I
can
I
definitely
don't
discuss
mind
it.
doing it. I just don't know how to because
Yeah.
just making phone calls to nasty people just turned me off.
Right. So phone calls are okay, but you're a cold caller, right? You don't have any kind of pre-existing relationship, so it's a cold call, and it can work, and every area is different. So what I would recommend is a more precise and strategic strategy. Um, I don't know if you have a website. I don't know if you have, all that kind of good stuff. I saw your electronic business card. That's cool.
Mhm.
But this strategy will kind of work whether you have those things or not. The way I
Okay.
went into it was I still don't have a website. I use my Google profile as my website technically, or I'll
Okay.
use my SnapDocs or the signingagents.com profile as my websites. So my email signatures, right, depending on who I'm emailing to try to target, etc., I would have that URL or that link or all three of them in my signature of the email.
Mm.
That way, when they try to binge me, right, they try to binge watch me, it'll direct their attention toward
Mhm.
one of those three, and each of those has the number of signings I've done or my updated credentials or whatever.
Mhm.
So there's that piece. Now, what I would do if you're trying to work within a certain area, right, you're trying to get local work. Um,
Yeah.
now, every culture is different, right? When it comes to region, demographics in that region, the work culture is different, all that kind of good stuff. So
Yeah.
luckily, I happen to be a little bit more familiar with your area than I
Mm,
would if you were, in California and that
right.
kind of thing. But the concepts are still the same, and you're trying to learn your audience. You're trying to figure out, how their culture works, what keywords they use, that kind of thing. And it's going to take some time to get to that point. However, we're going to use three different laws, universal laws, to our advantage when we're coming up
Okay.
with this plan. All right,
Okay.
and I'll describe those laws once I tell you the plan. So this
Okay.
strategy is kind of a Monday through Friday strategy. All right, do you work full time, or is this what you do the whole
This
time?
is what I do full time. It's my
Perfect. And you
business.
have nothing but time but to execute this plan.
That's right.
All right. So here's what we're going to do. Background stuff is you're working on the Google My Business profile. You're trying to get the keywords correctly. You're trying to get that back in order. All right. You're going to want a Google My Business at some point in the future. All right. So
Okay.
you might as well get that reinitiated kind of thing.
Okay.
Make sure that your signing agents agent.com website is or information profile is up to date. It
Okay.
has all your E&O insurance, all that kind of good stuff. And
Hmm.
if you have a SnapDocs, which I'm assuming you do, right? That's where you got some of your okay. Then
Hmm.
make sure that that's up to date. Make sure that the description in your profile is relating to the audience that we're about to target in your local area. All right,
Okay.
because they're the ones who are going to be clicking that, and you want to speak to them. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
So now I've only been in business since March, and every
All right.
month I've doubled my revenue every month up until now. And every
Ooh.
month I go into SnapDocs signing order and the signing agent, I update my profile with the new
Perfect.
numbers and stuff. So
See,
that's
you're
all
gonna
I
you're gonna you're gonna kill it. You're gonna kill it. You're gonna be making so much
do.
money.
I
So
I accept that. I accept that. Let's go.
just
And I
throw
want
that
to
out
do
into the
Ron.
universe.
And I want to do Ron eventually too, which is why I tuned into you guys.
Oh, I appreciate that. So, what I would do is I would get a map, all right, a
Okay.
physical map, Google Maps on the computer, whatever, but get a broad bird's eye view of the area, okay,
Okay.
and I would pinpoint my home office, all right, so my address basically, and then I would zoom out, and about an hour out, I would draw a big circle, okay.
Okay.
Uh, I don't have any paper here, but a big circle. So I have a big circle and I have a little dot in the middle, which is my home
Okay.
office, right? All right,
Hmm.
so that big circle is about an hour away from my home office. All right, and obviously you adjust the times to however far you want to go, etc. But I'm just going to use an hour as an example. Then 45 minutes, I'm going to draw another circle. 30 minutes, I'm going to draw another circle. 15 minutes, I'm going to draw another circle. So now I have essentially what looks like a target, right?
Okay.
My home office, a bigger circle, a bigger circle, a bigger circle, and then the full 1 hour circle. All right. And that target is going to be your area of operations. That's going to be where you live and breathe. That's going to be what's going to provide you the most local work. All right.
Okay.
All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to target one section at a time and one industry at a time. And when I say industry, I mean we're going to target all escrow/title offices. Then maybe the next time around we'll target all lawyers' offices or all hospitals or whatever industry within the notary sphere that you want to target. Okay. But
That
you
is
don't mix and mingle. You do one at a time because then your messaging gets thrown off. Okay.
okay.
All right. So we have that huge circle. A couple rules. We're always going to be working from the outside in. All right. And the reason for that is because from the outside, um, we're about an hour away, right? In this scenario, if you completely mess up, right? Let's say that you go into that office and you just make a complete fool of yourself. All right. It's an hour away. Okay.
Yeah.
It's not the ones closest to you. And then it's a little bit easier of a pitch to talk to them and say, hey, I'm an hour that way. So you need any work out that way. I'm more than happy to do it. I'm also willing to travel the hour to your office to do it in your office if you need me to, or what have you. But it's easier that way, right? So
Yeah.
across every single ring, you're going to be plotting all of the offices, okay, that are plus or minus from that ring. You're going to plot all the offices, all the escrow title offices, etc. All right, and then you're going to do the same thing to the next ring and the same thing to the next ring. So now your map has a target with a bunch of dots around it showing you where
Hmm.
all the offices are. Okay,
Okay.
and all we're going to do is we're going to take a section of that very outside ring first, and we're going to work our way in. And as we work our way in, right, our messaging is going to get better. We're gonna be saying it so often, and we're gonna be learning from each office as we go along. We're gonna learn keywords. We're gonna learn, how the culture in your area vibes, all that kind of good stuff. And so as you work your way around that first ring, then the next one, the next one, by the time you get to the inner rings, right, your messaging is going to be so on point and so perfected
Mhm.
and so, natural that it's going to take less people to get more work, right?
Nice.
Initially, you're going to be using the law of averages. So you're going to be trying to talk to as many people as possible to get work, right? But as you work your way in, it's going to be, you're still using the law of averages, but now instead of having to talk to 10 offices, now you just have to talk to two, and you'll be able to sell yourself easier. Okay. But we're working on the outside ring. So let's say that we take the top half, the top corner of the outside ring, right? The 1 hour out kind of thing. We want to take a section that'll give you about 3 to 5 offices to visit. All right.
Okay.
And that's going to be kind of where we stay each week. 3 to 5 offices, 3 to 5 offices. All right.
Okay.
And so let's say that today's Sunday. Today is Sunday. Perfect. All right. We'll use this week as an example. So today you make your map, you make your rings, you plot out all the offices, etc., and you take your little section, right, of 3 to 5 offices. All right. So you're going to list them out. You're going to put them on paper. You're going to put them in Excel, something, right? You're going to put all the information about their office. You're going to put all the information about the people who work there. Okay.
Okay.
Come and you're gonna do. And it's going to take some hours. So you know, hours today to do that. Come Monday, all right, you are going to go a little bit more in detail. All right. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, you're going to be socially stalking this office and the people
Mm.
there. Everything that's public. Okay.
So
Websites,
before I
Instagram.
go there, before I even go
Before
there.
you go there. Yep.
Okay.
You're going to be visiting them on Friday. Right?
Oh,
So
okay.
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Monday is technically your build a list day, but
Okay.
Monday, the rest of Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday is your binge and research day. Okay, you are
Okay.
socially stalking them, not really stalking them, but whatever they make public, read it. Okay, websites, LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, etc. And you want to
Okay.
kind of gather information. You want to put pictures to names, right? Faces to names. You
Mm-hmm.
want to put hobbies, interests, get a feeling for how the office talks to each other. Based off of your research, you'll be able to find out if that office is highly engaged online or not, which social media platform they live on the most, etc. And over time, right, with all those other offices, as the weeks go by, you'll start seeing patterns that you'll notice. Like, oh, you know what? Most of them are on LinkedIn. I'm going to do most of my marketing on LinkedIn.
Mm.
Most of them are Instagram. I'm going to focus more on Instagram. Screw Google, right? Or whatever. And you do your little thing. But so these 3 to 5, you're socially stalking them. All right, you're also trying to find out their interest in their hobbies, right? Because come Friday, you're gonna go visit them for the first time. First impressions only happen once, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you want it to be good, and you want to bring something. Okay, the more customized that you can make that gift, the more relatable to them, right? The higher the impact that you're gonna have. So if you find out through your research that most of the office are allergic to chocolate, right? Then it would be a horrible idea for you to take a mason jar full of Hershey's Kisses as your first gift.
Mm.
Does that make sense?
Yep.
Now, if you find out that the entire office are dog lovers, right?
Mm.
Then it would be a more impactful gift if you take something that's dog themed. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Okay. Because, most notaries aren't visiting offices. That's one. Two, the notaries that are visiting offices, they're taking generic items, right? Starbucks gift cards,
Mm-hmm.
small things like that, which is fine as follow-up stuff. But your initial one is very important. It could really make an impact. All right. So if you make a customized one that automatically resonates with them based off of your research, the better. Okay.
Okay.
So come Thursday night, you've already done your research the whole week. Thursday night, by the time you go to sleep, you should already have a plan for Friday morning. You're plotting out which offices you're going to visit in what order, when you're going to start, right? You're taking into account how long it's going to take you to get there, all that kind of good stuff. And you want to start the first office, you want to visit them about 10 to 15 minutes after they've opened. Okay, just enough time for them to get the day going and turn on the lights and boot up the machines and all that kind of stuff and really
Okay.
settle in. Now we're doing it on Friday because it's Friday. It's the end of the week. It's the beginning of the weekend. right?
Mm.
Everybody who's showing up to work doesn't actually want to work, right? And a brand new, smiling, energetic face that is you, right, showing up is a perfect reason why they're not going to work. Okay, and so they're gonna get there, and they're more open to conversation. They're more open to all that kind of good stuff. They're letting their hair down metaphorically, right? So
Hmm.
that's the best day out of all of them to really have a higher chance of getting people's attention. All right, now you're going to visit as many offices as you can on Friday morning. All right. You're going to stop once you hit all the offices or once about 2 o'clock rolls around. All right.
Okay.
And the reason for that is because in the morning and all that, you're happy. Everybody loves you. You know, everybody's chill. Come 2:30, 3. Now you're a nuisance because they're trying to go home early. They're trying to get the
Yeah.
weekend started. Right.
Okay.
So all of your stuff's going to happen before 2 o'clock. All right. Don't forget about the lunch hour. You may be hit or miss on that one. Right. Or
Okay.
until you hit every single office that you intended to hit. Now, the ones that you don't reach because you ran out of time or whatever, just throw them to the next week's list. Okay. All
Okay.
right. So it's Friday morning. You're going to head out there. Now, these conversations, you're looking at about, you're goaling yourself for about maybe a 5 minute conversation, 8 minutes. Obviously, if you really vibe with the office or the people that are in there and the conversations go a little bit longer, you know, go with it, right? Um, go with your gut, I guess I should say. All right.
Okay.
Now, these conversations, you're going to talk 80% business or 80% personal and 20% business. All right.
Okay.
All right. When you walk in there and you introduce yourself, they know who you are. They know what you want at that point. Once you say, "Hi, I'm Monique. I'm a mobile notary," blah, 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 they know what you want, right? They know that you want work. Okay.
Yeah.
Too easy. There's no reason why you should shy away from it. There's no reason why you should beat around the bush and I just came to say hi. Okay, bye. Like don't do that,
Yeah.
right? Be professional, be purposeful. All right.
Okay.
When you walk in there, right, have that confidence, have that command presence. Okay. Friday is also casual Friday day, so there's less pressure on what you should wear, but you still want to be presentable. Okay.
Right.
When you get there and you talk to them, and that 20% part should be the first part of the conversation. Introduce yourself, who you are, right? Just want to come in and start, building a relationship. I'm new to the area, or I'm a new notary in the area, or whatever the case may be. Over
Mm.
time, you're going to learn what kind of keywords they're going to like or not like or be familiar with, right? For example, when I started off in the Arlington area, I learned that they had no idea what a signing agent was.
Mm.
We were just notary, we were just mobile notaries.
Mm.
You see what I'm
Okay.
saying?
Yeah.
So when I said signing agent, they said, "What's a signing agent?" I said, I'm a notary." "Oh, you're a mobile notary." "Okay, yeah, yeah, okay, no problem." So you'll learn that as you go through and start talking to all these offices. All right. Um, but yeah, you introduce yourself, you tell them who you are, what you're trying to do, etc. And then you're going to ask them two questions at a minimum. You're going to ask these two questions. Okay.
Okay.
The first one is going to be about how many closings does this office do a month? All right.
Okay.
All right. The second question is going to be, do you typically close in-house or do you hire out? And what I mean by this is you're trying to find out, one, for the first question, right? How many closings they do a month. So are they a large scale office? Are they a medium? Are they a small? The smaller ones, the ones that do, small double digits kind of thing, they will typically tend to close in house, right? Because they are also notaries or they have in house
Right.
notaries that'll close and all that kind of good stuff. They're not doing enough business to require their attention to be solely on that and to be able to hire out. The medium ones is where you're going to make your money. The medium ones have just passed that small level area, right? They're getting into that point where they're taking on more than they can chew, so they need to hire out, right? They need new notaries to
Mm.
come in and that kind of good stuff. The bigger ones, they're going to typically almost exclusively hire out and not close in house, but they're going to be coming with more requirements, right? They're the ones who are going to be like, hey, you know what? They're like the Amrocks and bank serves and all them. They're the ones who are going to be like, well, I need to see X, Y, Z of trainings and so on and so forth. And
Mhm.
you have to have like a proven track record and all that because they don't know you. They don't have time to know you. They just need to go out there and hire
Yeah.
a notary based off of their resume. The middle ones are the ones, like I said, where you're going to make your money. They just got out of the small area, so they're still very personable. They understand, all that kind of
Mm.
good stuff. They're more about the relationship. but they're still at that level where they're doing so much business they have to hire more notaries or delegate it out, so to speak. Okay, so that first question helps you with that. That second question gives you a better idea of which offices you're going to be targeting the most as time goes on. Because if they only do in-house, that's okay. You still want to follow up with them, but just know that you're probably not going to get as much work from them, right? Through the
Mm.
conversation, you're going to figure out which one of those offices is going to be more likely to need your assistance as time goes forward. Okay, but those two questions, at a minimum, you should be asking them for every single office, and based off of those two questions by itself, you'll know more about your local area than anybody could ever teach you. All right.
Okay.
Once you go through all those rings, just off of those two questions, right, you'll know your entire area of operations, your market, better than anybody could ever teach you. Nobody can teach you that. No class, no course, no guru, etc. Okay, that is
Okay.
going to be invaluable information that you are always going to have with you that you can use to market yourself, remarket yourself, adjust marketing, all that kind of good stuff, and relationship building. All right,
Okay.
so that's Friday. Okay,
Now, if
Saturday,
I might ask you,
sure,
um,
sure.
is this in speaking to the gatekeeper, or is this actually me trying to
Everybody.
get
Everybody. And
everybody?
everybody's your friend, all right? Whoever wants to talk to you at that office, you're talking to them and you're keeping a mental note of who they are, what they do, etc. Hopefully it's easier because you've done the research already, right? So
Mhm.
you should know the gatekeeper, you should know, all that kind of good stuff. Now, that being said, the that's 20% of the conversation, right? 80% of the conversation is personal, but it's not personal about you. It's personal about them, right?
Mm.
You want to get to learn them, their story, who they are, how they got there, right? And this is not a knock on title or escrow or anything like that, but most adolescents going through middle school, high school, they're not growing up saying, you know what, I want to be a title officer or I want to be an escrow officer, right? Most people don't do that. There's
Mhm.
usually a chain of events, or a life journey that kind of leads you into that realm. So your job is to try to figure out what that journey is for that person and that person and that person and that person and so on and so forth, because everybody has a story. And the more that you start talking about that, the more personal it becomes, the more relationship starts getting built, right? And you're gonna shine some light on yourself as well here and there. But majority of that 80% personal conversation should be about them. Okay,
Mm.
and you're
Okay.
and you're soaking up all that information like a sponge. All right,
Yeah.
and then once you go back and you leave the office, and you're not going with any ill intent. You truly want to learn about them. You truly want to know about them, all that kind of good stuff.
Mhm.
But doesn't mean that you can't be systematic or you can't be organized with it. So when you get back to your car, right, you're going to pull out whatever note-taking device, your cell phone or an actual notepad or what have you, and you're going to brain dump as much information as you can about what the conversations revolved around in there, and by person. And even if you have a good memory, right? Some people have great memories, some people don't. But you're going to be talking to so many people over the next couple months that it's going to start getting very
Yeah.
confusing, right? And you might remember, a select, 4 or 5 people. Like, no, I don't have to write that down. I remember that. I remember him. I remember her. But
Mhm.
for the most part, you're going to want something just to double check your memory, right? So you want to be organized with that. Is my recommendation. But once you're done with all that, all right. You get to know them, etc. It's Friday, you're done. Saturday, Sunday comes along, Monday comes along. Okay. Now you're going back Monday morning and you're going to visit the offices that you vibed with the most on Friday. So let's say
Mhm.
out of 5 offices, right, you really vibed with 2 or 3. Those are the 2 or 3 that you're going to visit Monday morning. And by vibe, I mean like scale of 1 to 10, a five
Okay.
being, it was there, it wasn't good, it wasn't bad, it was just in the middle. You're going to aim for number 7 through 10. And you're going to start with number 10 and work your way back to number 7, right? As far as
Okay.
scores go on Monday morning. Now, Monday morning, it's a different type of visit. Okay. Now it's Monday, it's the beginning of the work week. Um, you're a nuisance. Okay. So you want to keep it short. You want to go in there, you want to be happy, you want to be peppy, you want to take them another gift. Okay. This time it could be a little bit more generic. It could be a Starbucks gift card, it could be the coffee shop gift card that's around the block or whatever. Or based off your conversations on Friday, you can make it another customized gift for the office. Okay. And you're just going to pop in there. And an example conversation would be like, you pop in there Hey, how's it going, everybody? I just wanted to pop in real quick. I know it's Monday, right? But I wanted to drop off this little gift, and I wanted to drop off this handwritten card, okay? That has my
Mhm.
contact information, etc. Right? Handwritten cards make a little bit more of an impression.
Mhm.
I'm gonna drop that off for you, right? I just wanted to say thank you guys so much for being so open and welcoming on Friday. I truly appreciate the conversation. All right, just want to get your Monday off started, or start your Monday started off correctly, etc. Blah blah blah. All right, I'll get out of your hair now. Oh, Miss Sally, did your son just did he win that game? Oh, he didn't win that game. Okay,
Mm.
maybe next time, and you walk away, right? But just a short little thing, okay? And that's all you're doing for all the offices that you vibed with. All right, and then it's Monday again. So guess what you're doing? You're looking at your outer ring, and now you're going to the next 3 to 5, right? You're picking
Mm.
up the ones that you didn't visit on Friday, you're popping them in there. 3 to 5 is your list, and then you're rinse and repeating. Social stalking, Thursday evening, you have your route. Friday morning, you're going out again. You see what I'm saying? And you're doing that
Yep.
over and over and over. Now, we're using three laws, three universal sales laws for this, all right, in sales psychology. One is the law of averages that we talked about earlier. Okay.
Okay.
The more people that you talk to, the more yeses you're going to get just based on how many, just based on numbers. Okay.
Yep.
The better that you get at the art of selling yourself, right? The less amount of numbers you have to, the less amount of people you have to talk to get that sale. All right. In those terms. The second one that we're using is the law of reciprocity. The law of reciprocity states that whenever you give something freely and without expectation of something in return, psychologically, that person that you gave it to feels an urge or a sense of wanting to repay you.
Mm.
Okay, so for example, for this, right? We're doing this mentoring call. I'm not charging you anything, right? Giving
Right.
you free information, all that kind of good stuff. And the law of reciprocity states that you should psychologically or subconsciously want to pay me back, right?
100%.
So,
It's like, what
so
can
that
I
would
do for
be,
you?
yeah, exactly. And so that would be like reviews. That would be, telling people good stuff about us, or whatever that
Mhm.
is. But there's something that you're going to be doing that's going to be subconsciously paying us back for it. Does that make sense?
Mhm. Yep.
So you are going over there, you're giving them two things, right? The first one is when you first met them, the second one is Monday when you followed up with them. Okay. And so that's two things that you gave them for free. They're going to subconsciously want to pay you back times two. Does that make sense?
Yep.
And what do you think that you're going to be asking them for?
Asking them for, I don't know.
For work. You want signings, right?
Oh,
So
we haven't gotten
so
to that
Friday,
yet.
yeah, so Friday is a soft kind of, ask, right? A soft ask. You just let him know
Hmm.
that you're there. Maybe you get something, you probably won't, but maybe you do, right?
Hmm.
Monday, you're not asking for anything, you're dropping stuff off, but you're gonna follow up with them, right? About a week later, 2 weeks later, to get back on their radar and then to do a hard ask. Hey, how many signings can I help you out with next week? Or what have you. And they're going to subconsciously, because they've seen you and they remember you and all that,
Hmm.
they're going to want to pay you back. Now, with that being said, the third law that we're using is the law of familiarization. All right. Now that dictates that the more often somebody sees you and interacts with you, etc., the more willingly, or the more willing they are to trust you. Right.
Hmm.
So that's why and more importantly, a bigger impression is made within a 96-hour window, a 72 to 96-hour window. That's why we're doing Friday and Monday, we're revisiting them. Okay. So that is
Okay.
more impactful than if you visited them once on Friday and then a month from now you go back and they see you again. They're not going to remember who you are, right?
Right.
But they see you on Friday, they see you on Monday. That's those seeds are planted and they're deeper rooted seeds, okay,
Hmm.
with being able to remember you, who you are, conversations you talked about, those kind of things. All right. So now whenever you follow up with them via email, etc., now it's no longer a cold email, it's or a cold follow-up, it's a warm follow-up, it's a warm email. They know something about you. You can add in pieces of conversation to, inside jokes, inside stuff, whatever, that they can jog their memory as to who you are, right? So when I was doing it, I would joke around. I'd use what I got, right? Hey, I'm the tall, bald Mexican guy, or whatever, and just to make them laugh, but to make
Yeah.
them picture who I am. So use what you want, etc. But the law of familiarization says that the more often they see you, the more they're going to trust you and all that kind of good stuff and want to work with you. So you're seeing them on Friday, you're seeing them on Monday, and then you're going to follow up with them every so often. You know, that's a personal preference of yours. I recommend within a week after that Monday, and then after that, maybe, every 2 weeks, once a month, or whatever, depending on your
In
relationship that you're
person?
building.
In
Huh?
person or by
In
phone or
whatever you feel comfortable with. I am a fan of in person,
okay.
but it's I want to see them at least 3 times in person, and then I'll start doing emails or phone or something like that, and then I'll go in person again, um, just to get back on the radar. But the more often they interact with you, the better. Now, with that being said, because the more often they interact with you, right, the more they trust you and the more they want to work with you, because people want to work with people that they know, love, and trust, you're going to want to run in the same circles that they do, right? So while you're doing this plan Monday through Friday, right, and you're working your rings, you are
Hmm.
also going to be involved in the Chamber of Commerce, in the Rotary Club, in Toastmasters, in whatever type of organizations that you find out through working those rings, right, and having conversations with these people. They're going to start telling you about clubs that they're in, conferences they attend, meetups that they go to, that kind of stuff, and you're going to inject yourself into those meetings as well. Now, while you're there, you're not selling them. Every time that you go to a chamber of commerce or that you go to a notary club or anything like that, you're not there to sell them. You're there to be part of that group, right?
Mm,
But just by being involved in that group, right, they're gonna see you more face to face. They're gonna talk to you more, etc. Even if they don't have direct conversation with you each time, they're seeing you, okay,
hmm.
and that's helping you in the future for sale or for business, okay,
Yeah.
because you're still building that relationship. Even if it was like if they volunteer for Habitat for Humanity, right, and the only time they see you is when you're there and you're actually helping, build or whatever, but you don't actually talk, they're still seeing you, and they're pairing up positive interaction with you. So when they see you for you asking that sale and saying, hey, do you have any signs coming up, etc., it's a easier gut feeling for them to be like, oh yeah, she's a square away girl, yeah, I know her, and you work it that way. So that's the law of familiarization. And so you rinse and repeat that cycle all the way through. By a month and a half, 2 months, I would be surprised if you go 3 months without getting a single direct
Okay.
line of work. Okay.
And even now, though
Um,
it's slowed down. Well, people say it's slowed down. I'm really busy, but um,
but see, but that's the thing. So when we started this conversation, right? You
hmm,
said that you were maintaining relationships with signing services, right?
hmm, hmm.
Okay. That's the secret. A
Okay.
1000%, that is the secret. Signing services, direct work, etc. Any sales job, relationships. Okay.
Okay.
So it's slow, but it's the only people who are feeling that impact are the individuals who did not build relationships, right?
Mm,
So when it comes down to it, right? If I only have one signing, you know, that I got to give out, am I going to give it to random stranger, or am I going to give it to somebody that I feel a connection with?
yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm going to give it to somebody I feel a connection with. And so you don't want to be best friends, you don't want to go out clubbing together or anything like that, but you do want to have a personally professional relationship, right?
Yeah.
You're going to skirt that line, but you still have to make it professional, okay? Um, but yeah, so it is slower than it has been, but that does not mean it has to be slow for you. It'll only be slow for those who have not been maintaining or starting relationships. And the best part is, now that it is slow, right? That means that those escrow officers, title officers, lawyers, lenders, etc., have more time on their hands,
Yeah.
right? That means more time to talk to you. That means more relationship building, so that when it builds back up and it picks back up, hopefully you've talked to enough people. You're going to need to hire yourself a notary. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. You know, the
yeah.
training I went to yesterday had 25 notaries. I was the only one doing 2 to 4 a day. And they're like,
Hmm.
how are you doing that? Like, we don't have that kind of business. I'm like, and my answer was, I just build relationships with signing services. Like,
Yeah.
I haven't even gone direct yet,
Yeah.
you know?
And that's a true story. Now, granted, you may have a slight advantage due to population because of the metroplex, right?
Mm,
But it doesn't change the accuracy and the truth of the statement of you have to build relationships, right? Now, if a notary lives out in the middle of nowhere and they have to drive an hour just to get to a populated area, they're going to naturally have a harder time whether they make
yeah.
direct work or not. But that doesn't change the fact that they will get more work if they had relationships built and maintained,
Yeah.
right? And it's a hard job. It's not easy to maintain those relationships, and that's
No.
the truth about the business, right? So when you're in business, you're not a W-2 anymore. You can't just clock in, clock out. Like, you got to be on it over and over and over and over, and if you're not going to, then you should probably stick with a W-2 job,
Yeah.
or stick as just a side business and just kind of be happy with whatever you do get.
Hmm.
um but uh it's times like this really separate the eagles from everybody else. I don't know how long you've been part of the group, but if you follow the topics on there, one of them is marketing and behind the scenes or something like
Which
that.
which
It
group?
has in the
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 notary,
Facebook group.
the
Yep.
notary
The
stars?
Yes, the notary loan signing agent training group on
Oh,
Facebook.
I
All right.
I don't think well, I've only been in business since March, so I haven't been on very long.
Check out the topics. All right. I have some they're like posts or articles in there that I've written. One of them is about birds of prey, right? Being an eagle versus everybody else. And the analogy, the summary of it is, and I used to tell this to my recruiters all the time, right? Because there'd be some that would rise above, the rest
Hmm.
and whatnot. And just like in the notary industry, in the recruiting industry, you have some recruiters, right, who are like, oh man, it's hard out there. Nobody wants to join the army. And then in the same office, you have another recruiter who's just, finding people left and right who want to join, and so on and so forth. And it's like, well, what's the difference? The difference is that when you realize that hustle and you realize that relationship building, is key, and so on and so forth, you go out there and you're constantly hunting, right? And you're constantly looking, and you're constantly making relationships and building those relationships and meeting new people, and all that kind of good stuff. But fast forward into small droughts like this, right? The eagle flies and soars above everybody else, right? Every now and then they fly solo for the most part. Every now and then, right? They'll come down, they'll have some water, they'll see other eagles, they'll acknowledge each other, but they'll fly away solo again, right? There's other birds of prey other than the eagle in the eagle's area, right? And when there's plenty of food, all those other birds of prey are eating, etc., right? And the eagle's out there, and the
Hmm.
eagle, soars down and eats themselves. Everybody's full. As long as the eagle is full, they don't care how many other birds are eating, right? But then during times of drought, right, times of famine, when there isn't as much food out there, that eagle will soar up there. They'll swoop down, they'll take their food, and they'll bounce out, and they'll get full, and the other birds of prey will start starving because they don't know they can't fight out that eagle, and they don't have the hunting ability, right? Same concept in the sales arena, right? Once you've built so much relationships and so on and so forth, you're going to be at that eagle status, right? So even during times like this, when there's not that much work, you can still go down there, grab your work, and be full and walk away, while
Hmm.
the other birds of prey are like, "Oh, I'm so hungry. Where's the food?" Because they haven't learned how to hunt yet. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah.
So you're never going to be intimidated by other notaries in the area, etc., because there's plenty of food, and that you know how to hunt for the food. So you're
Right.
never going to be worried about that piece. It's only the ones who don't have that, or haven't developed that instinct yet, or that work ethic yet. They're going to be struggling for a little bit. You know.
Yeah. That work ethic, that's a thing because I'm not a quitter. And this is the first time I've owned my own business, but I've always been in leadership roles in the businesses that I did work at.
Yeah.
And this time I just want to work for me, and I'm doing it for me, and
There
I
you
take
go.
time for myself. I pray every morning, I do a Bible study. I project what I want to see happen, I speak positive. Like, so I've done like all these things, and I really don't have a negative outlook about anything. So I think that helps me, because everyone's so negative. Like, there's no work, everything's slow, nobody's
Sure.
paying me. I'm like, I'm doing great. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, 1,000%. And you also want to keep in mind that you're going to be learning so much as you go along, right? And so
Mhm.
your mentality and your marketing is going to shift ever so slightly, but it'll be more precise shifting. A lot of people, when it comes to marketing, they look at it like a machine gun, right? And they take out a machine
Mm.
gun, and they're not aiming, they're just shooting, right?
Yeah.
And over time, right, especially if you work a strategic strategy, right, and a purposeful strategy, you'll be more of a sniper.
Mm.
Okay, I'm shooting here because there's a reason. You know what I mean? Not because I'm just spraying and praying. And with marketing, if you're marketing to everybody, you're marketing to nobody, right?
Yeah.
So you want to have a specific message to a specific group, right? Each time you want to tailor it as best as possible, and you're going to learn what that looks like as you start mixing with your community, because they're going to tell you what that looks like, through conversation, through all that, you'll know what the keywords are, what they're looking for,
Mhm.
how to sell yourself better, over and over and over, what websites they use or don't use. Do uh, do title officers in your area, when they need a new notary, do they go to Google? Do they go to Notary Rotary? Do they go to, you see what I'm saying? Do they go to
Mhm.
SnapDocs? And those are things that you're going to learn as you talk to those offices, and then that's going to tell you, okay, I need to put more of my emphasis in the NNA websites, or I need to put more of my emphasis in SnapDocs, or I need to put, you see what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
but no, again, nobody can teach you that, right? That's something they can tell you what your options are, but to choose which option, that's something that you have to learn through your sweat, right? And through your
Mhm.
ability of going out there and talking to people, okay,
Yeah.
in order for that to happen. So it'll be good. And then those relationships that you do make and that you keep, once you're ready to go online and be an online notary, right? It'll be a lot easier for the smaller offices who are more independent and don't sell their stuff off, or don't work for lenders that sell their stuff off, etc. They can go online with you, and they'll have trust in you already, so they'll
Mhm.
be
Yeah.
more willing to step out there and do an online notarization if they haven't done so already. um, or the ones that you are doing that are already doing online notarizations, they might require you to use a specific platform or what have you, but you already have an in, you already have a, hey, it's still me, just want to do it online, let's do this kind of thing,
Yeah.
right?
I have one already. So eSign Title here in Texas,
Hmm.
one of the escrow officers uses me to do in-person ones, and she pays really well. She pays me 300 bucks a file. And
Nice.
I know, and because I hand deliver, like I'll drive out to Arlington, get it signed, and I'll
Hmm.
drive back up to Azle to hand deliver to her, and she pays me
There
300
you go.
bucks. But she
That's
does
awesome.
everything online, and so I haven't said anything to her yet, but it's in my mind. Like I'm already Ron's commissioned. I don't have a platform. Like I
Right.
want to get to that point to talk to her and see if I can eventually help her in
Yeah.
that area. You know.
Bring her on to Notary Online, man. This let me use that law of
Yeah.
reciprocity on you.
Yes. Well, yeah, and
and,
see, and if I
and
can connect
bring them
you
on.
guys, that's even better. She's great. I love her. And she's the one I'll call like randomly, like I don't know what's the last holiday we had was July 4th. And I
Hmm.
hadn't heard from her for a few weeks and I just text her. I'm like, "Hey, how's it going? I'm wishing you a great July 4th weekend."
Yeah.
And then she wrote me back and a couple weeks later I've got work with her. So
There you go. And that's just the way it works, man. Relationships. It's just the way of life.
yeah.
You know.
One
Um,
thing that really helped me that I'm sure you already even know this, but like a lot of people don't know is when I was new, well, I still do it now actually, but before I even got work, I would
mhm.
get ready and dress up and be prepared to go to work as if I was already working. And
That's
I
right.
swear to God, as soon as I did that, my phone kept ringing. And I was like, how does that work? I don't
You're
know.
projecting it into the universe.
Yeah. Yep.
We talked about that yesterday. John did, when we were talking. We had some interviews with some notaries talking about their first signing, right? And
Mm,
so John ended the conversation with the eight tips, or eight notary tips for first time signing agents, or something like that,
mhm.
by the late Carol Ray. And yeah, one of it was just, what, be ready,
Yeah.
be dressed for the day,
Yep.
and be ready to go. And it's such an accurate statement. When
Yep.
you're ready for the day's ready for you.
Yep, yep, and I tested it because I'm like, "Does that even, like, work?" Like, it just came to my mind. I hadn't learned it anywhere, but I just assumed if I'm ready and I look ready and I
Mhm.
feel ready, I'm gonna be
Yep,
ready, and
that's right.
sure enough, it worked like a dream. I had my first, like, dozen signings quickly, like, in a week.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
awesome. That's good to hear. I'm eager to see how it works out for you.
Yeah,
Um,
thank
I think
you.
I think that, if you have that hustle already, I think that it's going to be very natural for you. And I'd be surprised if you go into if you do it week after week. I'd be surprised if you're in month 3 without getting something already. Probably a
Wow.
couple of weeks. And all you really need is, one, two, maybe 3 offices to
Mhm.
rely on to give you work, and you'll be busy.
Yeah.
And after that would just be keeping up relationships with other offices, just in case these other offices, for whatever reason, go dry or get slowed down or what
Right.
have you. You have other pools to go to. Um, but yeah, I'd be very curious on that. And then if you want to go into general notary work, that's a whole different,
I do.
marketing.
Yeah. Yeah, I need to learn that
So
too. I wanna learn everything, so
that's that one's going to be a lot more Google based or Bing or depending on your area. Most people still Google, but Apple users will also use that site as well. Um, and it's all about search engine optimization and keywords and that kind of stuff, blogs and those kind of things more than it is going out there making relationships
Mhm.
for the standard general notary work, right? Because the standard general notary work is somebody who just notary near me, right?
Right.
So, but if you're going to go into more general notary work that's industry, hospitals, etc., then now you have somebody that you can actually go and target, and you just rinse and repeat that first strategy, but with that industry, and
Yep.
you'll see results.
Awesome. And so do you offer additional training?
For marketing,
Yep.
not anymore. We're thinking about doing a free workshop, where we can kind of get a little bit more hands-on with like the strategy I just told you about, or
Mhm.
different ones, building up the profiles or things like that.
Mhm.
We haven't put it all together yet. We're still focusing on the primary launch and that kind of stuff, training on our platform, those kind of things. But once we get that balance kind of re-equalizing itself, we plan on doing more marketing workshops for everybody, et cetera. Because the more we can teach you how to hunt and find work, et cetera, right?
Mhm.
That means there's more opportunity for you to get work, which means that the more work that you have, hopefully you see the value in using us, because we're going to be
Yeah.
very cost effective and affordable
Yeah.
for the online sphere. And yeah, like us helping you helps us too. So I guess the short answer is not yet, but we will in the
But
future.
yeah, eventually.
Yeah.
Okay.
Until
And
then, we have
then
to do these one-on-one calls.
right? And so, okay, and your platform that's coming up is specifically Ron. Um, will you be able to do any kind of sign? So like I know some places only want to use Pavaso or Cyberize it or something like that. How is yours more open to anything or is it specific?
So if you get onto one of our demos, our platform is very, very versatile, right? So it's very easy to be integrated with any real additional platform or title company or lender or whomever wants to use us, right? Because it's very versatile. Um, the the companies currently that have preferences, most of them own that platform, right? So
Ah,
Stewart Title owns, I think it's Notary Cam, or Pavasso's owned by, what I mean, like those kind of things,
yeah.
and that's why they use those sometimes.
Okay.
But through strategic partnerships that our partners, Singer Fee, et cetera, are using, as well as the Notary Online crew, we're trying to expand that piece as well, and hopefully we'll get into those little spots too. But in reality, if anybody's using any platform that is not contracted like that, yeah, they can just as easily or probably easier to use our platform than Notary Online. And we're not just so we are focused on the online piece, right? But for notaries, we provide a marketplace, and that's
Mhm.
a central hub where you kind of directory site meets a work dashboard kind of thing, so that's going through a revamp right now. But we have that marketplace done. Part of that marketplace extension is the online platform, which is the video signing room powered by Singraphy. The technology that they have is outstanding. Like we started this journey in 2001 or 2021, November, I think, is when we first went live. And it's been a revamp after revamp, and beta testing and revamp and beta testing and revamp and legal review, and just one thing leads to another. And sometimes the universe, God,
Hmm.
has you go through a certain journey, and it kind of just shows you the breadcrumbs. You follow the breadcrumbs, and it leads to something glorious. And that's exactly where Notary Online landed. We
Nice.
partner with Stinger Fee. Again, they're a signature company. They're the technology
Mhm.
behind our online platform, and we have zero regrets. It's taken us longer than what we wanted to, because originally we were building everything ourselves, and it was okay, it was good. We wanted it to be better and better and better, and then we found Synchrony, and it was like, that's it. Like, we
Okay.
don't even have to, it's horrible that we had to spend all that money to do the development, but it is what it is. This is it right here. Collaboration, tweak some stuff, and it's awesome. Um, so yeah, I'm looking forward to the future on that little piece. But any company that wants to use us or experiment with us, if they get on the demo and they just see how the platform is and how easy and intuitive it is, it's
Hmm.
a no-brainer, especially for the cost, right? Because the cost of them using it is way, way lower than the industry norm. The cost of a
Hmm.
notary using us, even for general notary work, is going to be so much more cost effective than the platforms that are out there right now, in my
Nice.
opinion, you know.
So, what can I do to help you guys build your business? What do you
Mm,
need?
Spread the word, talk about us. Tell people to look into us, invite people to the group, have them follow our Facebook page, but mostly just talk about us. Let them know that we're out there, because a lot of notaries nowadays, they want to do online stuff, they want to get to into that realm, but when you start looking
Hmm.
at the costs, it's just like, and then you practice with a platform or two, and it's like, it's not, there might be some pain points that they didn't expect.
Yeah.
And encourage people just to talk about us, and encourage people to sign up for our demos.
Okay.
If they follow us on Facebook, we put our schedule on there. That way they can schedule themselves for a demo and see how awesome it is.
Okay. Yeah, I'm on actually notarize.com
Mhm.
for 2 or 3 months now. I haven't done one phone call because I can't catch them.
Oh,
And
that's the automated one, right? Where they bring you the work. Yeah,
yep. And I just wanted to learn how to do it. And that's why I joined them, because I didn't have to pay anything to join them, but they only pay you $5 a notarization. But I don't
yeah,
care. I want to learn. But I can't catch a single phone call. And they'll come in quick and I'm clicking every time and I can't get, I'm like, okay, I
yeah.
don't
That's
know.
unfortunate. That's
Yeah.
unfortunate. Yeah.
So
I comment on it, but I don't want to be held legally responsible for anything. I'm
I
just
need
gonna
to buy
sit here
a
and smile.
clipper or something that does it for me faster than I can do it.
It'll be fine. But there's a lot of notaries who are trying to do the same thing, So, and that, it just is what it is. It's kind of like a bottleneck, Everybody wants to go to get gas at the same time the gas station, pumps are full,
Yeah.
those kind of things. So it's expected. It is, but as more platforms come on board, hopefully that'll open up some bandwidth on
Yeah.
everybody's side.
Well, if you need a volunteer to test something or try something, I'm more than willing, because that will help me learn too. So
Sure.
keep
Yeah,
me in mind.
1,000%. I appreciate that. Yeah, no problem, no problem at all. And Miss Monique, is it okay if so I automatically tape all these conversations. Is it okay with you if I put some of this on
Oh
our
yeah.
YouTube channel and things like that?
Oh yeah. Sure. No
Oh,
problem.
perfect. Awesome. Awesome. Thank you very much. And
Yeah.
keep me updated on doing the direct work.
Kidding.
All right.
Okay.
If you when you implement that strategy,
Yep.
even if you deviate from it and you said, you know what, that sounded good, but I want to try this instead, like,
Hmm.
please let me know how that goes. I'm so excited for you.
Yeah, thank you. I'm excited too, because I mean, it seems so simple, but just to have you say it and I write it down and I have like a format to follow, like that's really going to help me, I think.
I'm telling you, I've done
Yeah.
it in three different industries now, including the military and notary, and in different states. It works.
Okay. And I'm
There
an
might be some.
introvert.
Me
I'm
too.
an introvert, and so it's hard for me, but I want my business to thrive, and so that's more important to me than my own
There you
fears.
go. And
So,
that's the key right there. Yeah,
yeah.
people are sometimes surprised, but I'm 1,000% introvert. You can leave me on a deserted island by myself, and I'll be just fine for the rest of my life.
Right? Oh
You
my
know,
God, that'd be
but
amazing.
but you have to learn how to overcome
Yeah.
that. So after we're done, even with these video calls, right? If I do 3 or 4 a day, by the end of the day, I just, you know what, I need an hour of just me
Yes.
being by myself. So I feel you. We're right here.
Yep, yep. The nice part about being a mobile notary is I get that like hour of travel time all by
Yeah.
myself in my car. That's my downtime.
Exactly, exactly,
Yeah.
1,000%. Well, Miss Monique, it's been a pleasure talking with
Thank
you.
you.
Um, Again, please don't be shy on reaching out to me, and also please follow up with me on how everything goes down. I'm really excited for you, and I'm very curious on how long it actually takes for you.
Thank you so much. I appreciate your time.
No problem.
All right.
Likewise. You have a
Bye.
good one. Bye
You
bye.
too. Bye.